My name is Emily Parker, and I grew up in Seattle, Washington. When I was 12 years old, my mother married a man named Michael Carter. He was kind, soft-spoken, and worked as a school counselor. But to me, he was just Mom's new husband. I didn't hate him, but I didn't trust him either. Losing my father when I was 10 had built a wall around my heart, and no one was allowed inside, not even someone who tried. Michael respected that. He never forced conversations, never tried to play the dad role. But that quiet understanding only made things more awkward between us. By the time I turned 17, I was getting ready for college. Mom worked long shifts at a hospital, and Michael was the one who often picked me up from school. We barely talked during those rides. Just music, silence, and the sound of traffic. But everything changed the summer before I graduated. The road trip I never wanted. One evening, Mom sat at the dinner table with that hopeful look she used when she was about to suggest something I didn't like. "Emily," she said gently, "Michael has to drive down to California for a school conference. I thought maybe you could go with him. It would be a fun little road trip before college starts." I almost dropped my fork. "You want me to drive with him for 2 days?" Mom smiled. "It'll be good for both of you. You never spend any time together." Michael, sitting quietly across from me, looked up. "Only if you want to," he said kindly. No pressure. I wanted to say no, but the guilt in Mom's eyes stopped me. So, I agreed. Day 1. Silence and small towns. The next morning, we packed his old silver SUV. The plan was to drive from Seattle to San Francisco, with a stop in Eugene, Oregon. The first few hours were painfully quiet. Michael kept his eyes on the road, humming softly to old country songs. I scrolled through my phone, pretending not to be bored. But when we stopped at a small cafe in a little town called Castle Rock, something shifted. The cafe was warm and smelled like cinnamon rolls. The old lady at the counter recognized Michael. "Well, if it isn't Mr. Carter," she said, grinning. "You still giving those kids all your good advice?" Michael laughed. "Trying to." She looked at me and said, "You must be his daughter. He's always talking about helping teenagers figure out life." I blinked. "His daughter." Michael smiled awkwardly but didn't correct her. I just nodded politely. After we sat down, curiosity got the best of me. "You really talk about me?" He hesitated. "I talk about how proud your mom is of you. And how I'm lucky to know you, even if you don't talk to me much." That was the first time I saw sincerity in his eyes, not pity, not forced friendliness, just quiet respect. Day 2. The bridge and the breakdown. By the second day, I was actually enjoying the drive. We talked about music, movies, and the time he got lost during a camping trip as a teenager. Somewhere near the Golden Gate Bridge, the sky turned gray, and rain started to pour. Michael pulled over near a rest area to check the tires. That's when his phone buzzed, a message from Mom. "Greater than, miss you both. Drive safe. Love you." He smiled faintly at the screen, then whispered, "She worries too much." I laughed softly. That's what moms do. Then I surprised myself by saying, "You're good for her, you know." He looked at me with genuine warmth. "I just try to make her happy. And I know I'll never replace your dad, but I do care about you, Emily. A lot." Something about the way he said it, gentle but firm, hit a nerve. Tears welled up in my eyes before I could stop them. "My dad used to say almost the same thing," I whispered. "He always wanted me to be strong. I just didn't think anyone else would care that much again." Michael handed me a tissue without a word. Sometimes silence says more than comfort ever could. We sat there, listening to the rain hit the windshield. For the first time, the silence wasn't awkward, it was peaceful. Day 3. The detour. The next morning, Michael suggested a detour through Monterey. "It's beautiful this time of year," he said. We drove along the coast, the ocean stretching endlessly beside us. He told me about his childhood, growing up in a small Midwestern town, losing his own father young, and how that pushed him into counseling work. "You help people because you know what pain feels like," I said quietly. He nodded. "That's the truth, Emily. Pain teaches us empathy. At one point, we stopped at a small beach. I kicked off my shoes and walked barefoot through the cold sand. Michael followed, carrying our drinks. You know, I said after a while, this trip wasn't as bad as I thought. He chuckled. I'll take that as a compliment. For the first time, I smiled freely around him. Day 4. The unexpected gift. When we reached San Francisco, he parked near the oceanfront and pulled out a small box from the glove compartment. I was going to give this to you on graduation day, he said, but I think now's a better time. Inside was a silver compass keychain, engraved with the words, "Greater than, no matter where you go, you're never lost." I stared at it, speechless. He continued softly, "You don't have to think of me as your dad, Emily. But if you ever need someone in your corner, I'll always be there." I hugged him. For the first time in years, it felt like I wasn't carrying the weight of loss alone. Epilogue. What the road taught me. It's been 5 years since that road trip. I'm in college now, studying psychology, partly inspired by Michael's work. We still talk every week. He never tried to replace my father, but he filled a space I didn't know could exist again. That road trip didn't just change our relationship, it healed something inside me that I thought was gone forever. Moral of the story. Sometimes, family isn't defined by blood, it's defined by effort, patience, and love that asks for nothing in return.